Basketball fans in the 704 are still reeling after waking up to the news that Jeff Peterson and the Charlotte Hornets traded Mark Williams to the Los Angeles Lakers for Dalton Knecht, Cam Reddish, and a pair of future draft assets. Our staff at Hornets on SI took a beat, had a cup of coffee, and handed out grades for the blockbuster trade. Albert Botcher, B+. Overall, I'm very pleased with this trade. Yes, Mark Williams has a ton of potential and could turn into one of the league's best bigs later in his career. But as of now, his development has been halted by constant injuries. There are also some major concerns on the defensive end, as opposing teams' bigs tend to have their way with him on the interior. Keeping all of that in mind, Jeff Peterson has managed to receive an excellent return, especially for a player whose future is so uncertain. Dalton Knecht is young and should fit perfectly into Charlotte's offense with his three-point shooting ability. Cam Reddish is more of a throw-in, but he's another player who's got a lot of upside in theory. Combine those two with the nice draft capital the Lakers sent over, and this is a very promising deal. Ian Black, A. Great value in an unexpected trade for the Hornets. Knecht's offense, particularly on the perimeter, will be a welcome addition to a Hornets team that attempted the 5th most threes in the league but has 4th worst three-point percentage. After having center problems for so many years, seeing the player in Williams who was supposed to finally be that answer go out their door is quite the surprise. The new regime in Charlotte is certainly showing that they are not going to just sit idle when there is value to be had. There is real chance this trade is looked back on poorly if Williams stays healthy and reaches his max potential. But as of today, the bet being made by Jeff Peterson is sound process on this one. Zachary Roberts, B+. This was an absolute shocker. Mark Williams can and will be a great NBA center. The return is really good, but I can't help but feel like this is a mistake. In what world is Moussa Diabate a starting center? Apparently this one. I certainly don't like trading the third best player on the team when the two best players are hurt. But this does ultimately move the Hornets into the future at a much more rapid pace. I just wish that future included Williams. Skylar Callahan, A. While I'm shocked the Hornets were willing to move off of Mark Williams, it's hard to turn a blind eye to the haul they received from the Lakers. Dalton Knecht is someone they really thought long and hard about during the draft, so the fact that they were able to acquire him, Cam Reddish, and a future first is pretty impressive. Especially considering Williams hasn't even scratched the surface of his potential in the NBA. The return is what makes this grade so high for me. I'm aware he's had his fair share of struggles defensively lately, but I thought Mark Williams would have fit in well with this group long term. Once he fully develops, he'll turn into one of the top 10 or 12 centers in the NBA. It's a bigger loss for Charlotte down the road than it is now. That said, Peterson couldn't turn down that package for a somewhat injury-prone player. Matt Alquiza, B+. I dove into my full thoughts here, but this is a shrewd piece of business for Jeff Peterson and the Charlotte Hornets. There's an argument to be made that Charlotte is moving off of Williams at the peak of his value as evidenced by his long injury history, recent run of form, and the increasingly dominant statistical outputs opposing centers have put up against him. Knecht is an interesting prospect, the draft capital is a nice value add, and there's a chance Mark Williams tops out as the 15th best center in basketball. This package was impossible for Peterson and company to turn down.